Here's a magazine review of the Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction. This is issue 2, came out in March 1975, about 80 odd pages from Marvel Comics, and it's got a variety of brilliant science fiction themed stories. Now, this magazine sadly only lasted about 6 issues, like quite a lot of these black and white ones, but I enjoyed these issues. Would love to see this magazine come out again. So what's in it? Quite a lot of different content. It's got the contents page here. Also, you've got a lot of great artists as well. You've got George Perez in this. You've got Frank Robbins, Mike Kaluta, Bruce Jones, etc. Also, lots of stories, obviously, by a variety of people. John Wyndham's classic Day of the Triffids. So, just going to quickly run through this. Introduction, then you've got the slow glass. This is a common theme that they ran through all the issues of this science fiction magazine. Really good concept. And it sort of framed the story. So you had the start, and then you have the conclusion of the slow glass at the end. Then you've got Perez, George Perez, War Toy. Really slightly different from his usual style, I must admit. When I look at it, if someone turned around and said, "That's George Perez," I would go, I must have been more familiar with like Avengers and his Teen Titans work. I loved all those. And Wonder Woman, of course. Great story where you got this War Toy. Well, he obviously helps things, his battles for Earth, as you do. You've also got a great interview as well, a conversation with Alfred Bester, the Demolished Man. Then you've got this lovely story here. This one's a sample page from an Australian comic strip adaptation, Stars My Destination, of course, a famous book of his. So you've got a lovely one there. So actually quite a nice, beautiful bit of artwork there. Then into a Frank Robbins story. This is by Denny O'Neill. Adam and No Eve. It's quite an interesting twist in the story. Got this guy on this world is obviously got problems. I'm not going to say any more than that. Then you've got The Hunted and the Hunted. This is a brilliant story by Mike Kaluta. Love this one. Just superb art, very, very little text at all. It's all the way through. It's a sort of beautiful space story. It's only a short story, but very good. Then science fiction, Fans and the Hugo. Not necessarily in that order. That's quite an interesting topic. Harlan Ellison and Frank Kelly Freese. Now, one thing I did love a lot of these magazines, you'd have these three-dimensional Marvel superheroes action scenes. And also Spider-Man toys and things. I guess in the States, probably people bought these, but of course, this one, a Spidey squirt gun, Kung Fu Fighter. Probably quite collectible now as well. Specimen. So you've got Specimen, and that's Bruce Jones. Story and art by Bruce Jones. And that is quite a good one. Again, with a twist. A lot of these stories all had sort of twist ends, a bit like EC Comics, sort of weird science, those sort of things. I guess that was the argument. You've got this woman behind bars. And, well, I'm not going to say anything more than that. Planet of the Apes lives. Well, it certainly did back in the 70s. Then you go into Day of the Triffids. I love this Day of the Triffids. I love the film as well. Also, I love the book. John Wyndham's brilliant book, but I love the, not certain what year it was, 1963, 61, I can't remember. That was a really good UK science fiction film. And it follows much the same thing. You've got the Triffids, obviously plants, and everyone has, of course, been blinded by the meteorites and all the problems that come about from there. Now, to be honest, I haven't read the book for ages, so I have no idea if the ending of the book matches the ending in here. But I'm not going to say. It's a good story. It's actually a conclusion, so it's obviously, I can't remember how many. See, obviously this was issue 2, so obviously the first part was in issue 1. One would assume. I can't remember if it was or not, but I guess it would be. That would be weird if it wasn't. Then you've got the slow glass story at the end. It frames the whole lot. And then you've got, well, the next issue, it's got brilliant Larry Niven's. I mean, this was just classic stuff. This was some great stories. Larry Niven, not long before the end. Then Conversation with Frank Herbert. Then Repent, Harlequin, said the TikTok Man. Obviously, Harlan Ellison's classic with Alex Nino and Roy Thomas. And as well as a few other things as well. Planet of the Apes, also got some more there, Savage Sword of Conan, and some adverts, and also the end of the interview with Alfred Bester. So this is a really lovely magazine. Certainly if you can find copies of this, definitely worth checking out if you're a science fiction fan. I think they're just great stories. I say, such a pity that Marvel didn't continue with this series. 6 issues, I think it was 6 issues, was pretty, should have been more, many more.